Imagine walking through the streets of a city that once was the hub of the world, where intellect, culture and power met. What would it feel like to witness the wonders of human achievement? Today, we're traveling back in time to explore 10 of the most advanced cities in history, places that pushed the boundaries of human knowledge and changed the course of civilization forever. Our journey begins in the heart of ancient Mesopotamia, in the city of Babylon. Around 1900 BCE, this city emerged as one of the most influential powerhouses of the ancient world. But what made Babylon truly revolutionary? For one, Babylon was home to some of the most impressive architecture the world had ever seen. The Ishtar Gate, adorned with lions, dragons and bulls, once stood as an awe-inspiring gateway to the city. But Babylon's architectural brilliance didn't stop there. Legend tells of the Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, an engineering marvel built to please the king's wife, featuring a lush paradise suspended high above the ground. And then there's the Code of Hammurabi, one of the first written legal systems. Imagine a world where justice is dispensed through laws that were inscribed on stone tablets, setting the foundation for many modern legal systems. But Babylon wasn't without its enemies. In fact, the mighty Assyrians were constant rivals, and after centuries of dominance, Babylon would eventually fall to the Persian Empire in 539 BCE. Yet, its legacy in law, mathematics and architecture has echoed through history. Fast forward a few centuries, and we land in Athens in the 5th century BCE. A city like no other, Athens wasn't just about conquering lands, it was about conquering minds. In the heart of Athens, great minds like Socrates, Plato and Aristotle laid the foundations for modern philosophy. Imagine walking through the Agora, the bustling marketplace of ideas, where these intellectual giants debated democracy, ethics, and the nature of reality itself. Athens also brought us one of the most iconic architectural feats in history, the Parthenon, a symbol of Athenian wealth, power, and devotion to the gods. This was more than just a temple. It was a symbol of democracy in action. But Athens wasn't alone in its greatness. Across the Peloponnesian Sea lay Sparta, a militaristic society that valued strength and discipline above all else. These two city-states would clash in the infamous Peloponnesian War, with Athens suffering defeat. Yet even as the Athenians lost the war, their contributions to philosophy, democracy and the arts would change the world forever. Next, we venture into the heart of the Roman Empire, a city that stretched across continents and shaped the entire Western world. Founded in 753 BCE, Rome's power wasn't just in its armies, it was in its people's ability to innovate. The Romans mastered the art of engineering. Imagine a network of roads that connected every corner of their vast empire, built to withstand the test of time. And then there were the aqueducts, bringing fresh water to cities in a way no one had done before. Roman architecture is legendary, with structures like the Colosseum, where gladiators fought for glory, and the Pantheon, which remains one of the best preserved buildings of the ancient world. These weren't just buildings, they were the symbols of a thriving empire. But what truly set Rome apart was its military might. Roman soldiers, disciplined and well-trained, conquered vast territories. Their strategies, tactics and infrastructure allowed Rome to dominate for centuries. And then there's the Roman law, the very foundation of modern legal systems. With the creation of the Corpus Juris Civilis, the Romans codified laws that still influence us today. But even the mighty empire wasn't invincible. By the 5th century CE, internal turmoil and external invasions brought the Western Roman Empire to its knees. Yet the Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantine Empire, would continue to thrive for another 1,000 years. Now we turn to Alexandria, the jewel of ancient Egypt, founded in 331 BCE by Alexander the Great. Alexandria wasn't just a city. It was a center of learning that attracted scholars from across the ancient world. At the heart of this intellectual metropolis was the Library of Alexandria, the largest and most famous library of the ancient world. It housed countless scrolls from Greek, Persian, and Egyptian cultures, preserving knowledge and fueling a golden age of science, mathematics, and philosophy. And then there's the Lighthouse of Alexandria, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, guiding sailors safely into port for centuries. In Alexandria, scholars like Euclid and Archimedes made groundbreaking contributions to geometry and physics. It was a place where ideas flowed freely, and the pursuit of knowledge was the highest ideal. But the rise of Rome spelled the beginning of Alexandria's decline. In 30 BCE, after the defeat of Cleopatra VII by Augustus, Alexandria would slowly lose its place as the center of the ancient world. In the 8th century CE, we find ourselves in Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate, and a city that became a beacon of knowledge and innovation during the Islamic Golden Age. The House of Wisdom was the heart of Baghdad's intellectual life, where scholars translated Greek, Persian, and Indian works into Arabic. It was here that Al-Khwarizmi developed algebra, and Al-Razi pioneered advancements in medicine. Baghdad's influence spread across the known world, with its advances in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine influencing Europe for centuries. It was a city that bridged cultures, and a place where the best minds of the time came together. But in 1258 CE, Baghdad fell to the Mongol invasions, marking the end of the Abbasid Caliphate and the Islamic Golden Age. Our next stop is Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. Founded in 330 CE by Emperor Constantine, this city stood as a beacon of culture, art, and military might for over 1,000 years. The Hagia Sophia is the epitome of Byzantine architecture, a stunning blend of Christian and Roman elements that stood as the tallest cathedral in the world for centuries. Constantinople was also a hub of trade, connecting Europe and Asia. Its strategic location made it a city of wealth and power, with towering walls that made it almost impenetrable to invaders. But in 1453 CE, after centuries of glory, Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Empire. Still, its legacy lived on, influencing everything from architecture to law. Now, we venture high into the mountains of Peru, where the Inca Empire built one of the most incredible cities in history, Machu Picchu. Built in the 15th century CE, this city remains an awe-inspiring example of advanced engineering, architecture, and agricultural prowess. What made Machu Picchu so remarkable was its seamless integration with nature. The Inca developed a method of building called ashlar masonry, where perfectly cut stones were placed together without mortar, so precisely that not even a blade of grass could slip between them. Machu Picchu's agricultural terraces are a marvel, demonstrating the Incas' ingenuity. They developed chinampas, or floating gardens, to grow food in the swampy conditions, allowing the city to sustain a large population at high altitudes. But Machu Picchu wasn't just a city, it was a center for astronomy. The Intihuatana stone, often called the hitching post of the sun, was a sacred site used by Incan priests to track the sun's movements, marking solstices and agricultural cycles. Despite its incredible achievements, the Incan Empire, including Machu Picchu, fell to Spanish conquistadors led by Francisco Pizarro in the 16th century. Machu Picchu was abandoned, hidden for centuries, until its rediscovery in 1911 by Hiram Bingham. Next, we travel to Cairo, a city that has stood as a center of Islamic learning, commerce, and culture for over 1,000 years. Founded in 969 CE, Cairo was a thriving metropolis that became the heart of the Fatimid Caliphate. At the center of this golden age was Al-Azhar University, one of the oldest and most prestigious institutions in the world. Scholars from across the Islamic world came here to study science, theology, mathematics, and philosophy, making Cairo a beacon of intellectual achievement. Cairo was also a hub of trade, connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. The city's bazaars were filled with spices, silk, and rare goods. Meanwhile, Cairo's architecture, exemplified by magnificent mosques and palaces, blended Islamic artistry with Egyptian and Byzantine influences. While Baghdad and Cordoba were rivals in the intellectual sphere, Cairo's position as a center of Islamic power remained unrivaled. Though it would face invasions and shifts in power over the centuries, Cairo's influence never fully diminished, and it continues to be a vibrant cultural and intellectual hub today. Now, let's take a journey to the heart of the Aztec Empire, Tenochtitlan, located on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco in what is now Mexico City. Founded in 1325 CE, this city was one of the most advanced urban centers of its time. Tenochtitlan was a marvel of urban planning. The city was built with a complex system of canals that served as streets, and causeways connected the city to the mainland, creating a bustling metropolis in the heart of a lake. At the city's center stood the Templo Mayor, an awe-inspiring pyramid dedicated to the gods. Tenochtitlan wasn't just a place of power, it was a religious and cultural hub, home to advanced art, architecture and engineering. The Chinampa system, or floating gardens, was a revolutionary way to cultivate crops in the shallow, swampy lakebed. This technique allowed the Aztecs to produce an abundance of food for their growing population. But like so many great cities before it, Tenochtitlan faced invasion. In 1521 CE, the city fell to Hernán Cortés and the Spanish conquistadors, who, despite their smaller numbers, overwhelmed the Aztecs with superior weaponry, diseases and strategic alliances with rival tribes. Our final stop is London, not ancient, but a powerhouse during the Victorian era of the 19th century. In the 1800s, London transformed from an old city into the heart of a global empire, fueled by the Industrial Revolution. London was the birthplace of the steam engine, revolutionizing industries, transportation and even daily life. The city's factories churned out goods, and the London Underground, the world's first subway system, opened in 1863, forever changing urban transport. The city became the financial centre of the world, with the London Stock Exchange and the Bank of England controlling international trade and finance. London was also the nerve centre of the British Empire, which spanned the globe and made London the most influential city in the world. But it wasn't just about industry. London was also a hub for science, art and literature. Thinkers like Charles Darwin revolutionised biology with his theory of evolution, while writers like Charles Dickens painted vivid pictures of the era's social conditions. London wasn't just the seat of empire, it was the city where modernity itself took root. The innovations that emerged here changed the world and laid the foundation for the future we live in today. From the intellectual heights of ancient Athens and Alexandria to the architectural marvels of Rome and Babylon and the industrial might of Victorian London, these cities defined the trajectory of human civilization. Their legacies continue to inspire and shape the world we live in today. These cities remind us that the pursuit of knowledge, innovation and culture is what drives humanity forward. No matter the time, no matter the place, these great cities will always live on in the stories we tell, the inventions we create and the dreams we dare to chase. If you enjoyed this journey through history's most advanced cities, don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell for more stories from the past that shaped our present. Until next time, know more, be more.